Capricorn, hi. So this is going to be a reading for the month of July 2026. And I'll do the reading for you and then I'll close it off with a oracle card. And these are general readings, so they may not resonate for all of you. If they do, there is an extended at the end of the video. You can check out the link for that in the description box below if you want. Let's see, Cappy. Let us see. Ooh. The overall energy for the reading, the 10 of Cups. Okay, there's a few indications of happiness. This is one of them. And while you're kind of telling me here with this one that, hey, you know, at the end of the day, I just want to be happy here in whatever this is, you're including other energies as well. So it's like, I want happiness for everybody involved. Okay, that's my intention. Okay. Starting off the reading, you get the 7 of Pentacles crossed by the Knight of Swords. Yeah, you're working on something. You're very involved there. Your energy is definitely like, yeah, we're doing this. Okay. In your focus, the 4 of Cups. At the same time, you're upset about something. I don't know what about, but we'll see when we clarify. In the recent past, the Empress. Is this you? Or is this somebody else? I think it's you. I think it's your energy. Where you could have felt a little more in tune with your heart, you know, a little more open from your heart, a little more nurturing towards yourself, towards others. Okay. In your strength, the Moon. Ooh, you're not telling me. It's almost like showing up exactly like that, like a secret weapon. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm like, okay, but I'll figure it out when we clarify. Okay. In the immediate future, the Sun, definitely happiness. This is the happiest card in the deck, so that's coming through for you. Cool. In the supportive energies, the Tower. Are you coming out of a shit show or something? Because the energies seem, you know how... Imagine a building collapsing and you see the dust settling after it happens. I kind of see the dust, you know, so whatever happened already. It's just the dust is still settling on something here. The energy that is surrounding you, and you may not be aware of it, the 4 of Swords. Okay, so you're still recovering from whatever collapsed here. So there's still a little bit of healing going with that. In your hopes and fears, the 6 of Swords. I mean, you're hoping to put all of it behind you and just heal and just grow and learn from the experience. So slowly but surely, you're actually doing that. And for the potential outcome, the 3 of Wands, you're looking like you're waiting for something there, you know? So let's clarify. Let's do the 10 of Cups. For the 10 of Cups, you get the Chariot, the King of Cups, the 3 of Swords. Okay, so yeah, there is another energy attached to you, but they're attached to you through pain. So something must have happened at some point. This is definitely a resonating energy with yours, but what connects you right now is something a little bit painful. Alrighty, let me do the 7 of Pentacles. The Queen of Cups, the Lovers, the 2 of Cups. Okay. Yeah, see, this is kind of an undertone to everything, because while I see you working on something, and it's something quite practical, I see you actually putting effort into something, the undertone of that is kind of like, you know, I'm just working on, in the bigger picture, on myself, you know, and keeping myself open to all sorts of energies that are supposed to resonate with me and supposed to be good for me. So I don't see you necessarily working on a new connection or anything, but that's kind of in there as a sense of you staying open to that. So whatever transpired through this one that is still here through pain, I'm assuming this is the building that crashed and then the dust settling and you're in the dust period. I'm assuming this is what this connection is. But at the same time, you're trying to stay open to whatever's next, as far as commitment goes, especially in this department. This could be love. This could be, romantic. This could be work, this could be a friendship. This could be pretty much anything. But whatever it is that you're doing, you're not doing it specifically to keep yourself open to whatever's good for you and things like that, but it kind of comes with the territory. So that's the intention underneath it all, for you, for your growth, For the Knight of Swords, you get the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Two of Swords. There is another energy, though, around you, kind of lurking. So there's something going on here. It's kind of to the side, like it's not priority. You're working on something else. You're preoccupied, or your focus is someplace else, towards something that may have to do with your stability. And then there's this, there's this other thing, other energy that's kind of lurking. Things are a little unclear there. While it kind of feels good, for the most part, in the energy that you're creating with this other energy, there's still, at the end of it all, signs of it's complicated. It's not that black or white. Okay, so it's in the gray area here. Let me do the Four of Cups. In your focus, the Ace of Swords, the Six of Wands, the King of Wands. You're upset about someone's lack of initiative. Someone's not doing something. And you're like, well, what that tells me is that you have expectations. And, what do expectations do generally? They set us up for failure. Nothing is ever going to show up in the way we expect it to. So we're always going to be disappointed. We're always going to be upset. Why the hell would we do that to us? When in all reality, we don't have control over shit anyway. You know what I mean? So why would you place an expectation over someone, and then you are the one that in turn gets upset that someone doesn't show up in the way you expect them to? Because maybe they are showing up, but you're not going to see that. Because you hold them in, well, they got to show up that way. They got to do that in order for me to acknowledge that they did it. Well, maybe they're doing it this other way. Well, no, it's not like the way I want them to, so it doesn't count. No, well, whose fault is that? And don't say theirs, because no. That's your expectations' fault. Let's just put it that way. So you see how you're kind of setting yourself up there? By creating expectations over, they showed up. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. Why would you be upset about it? For the Empress in the recent past, you get the Nine of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, the Ten of Swords. Okay. You're showing me a commitment that you were, potentially still are, but were definitely part of. And then you're coming in strong and clear and, kind of stepping into that energy of, I'm doing this for me because it feels 100% right for me. But you're saying, I'm ending this. Okay. Let me do the Moon in your strength. The Five of Cups, the Justice card, the Magician. There's some very deep healing aspect that's happening kind of underneath the surface for you. So whatever transpired out of that experience, that whether you ended it or not, I can't see clearly if it actually happened. You're just showing me the intention there. Doesn't really matter. That's irrelevant. What matters is that situation definitely brought up some healing for you. And I feel like it's happening, but it's kind of happening in the background, in the sense of it almost feels like you're not 100% aware of the healing that's kind of happening here. But it's something that your soul definitely needs because you're calling this in. So you may not feel it upfront, this whole sense of very deep healing that's at play. But it is at play. You know, you may feel it a little later. Let me do the Sun. In the immediate future, you get the Page of Cups, the Three of Wands, the Eight of Wands. There's some good news coming in, but it's down the road. It's down the road. It's not like the best news of your entire life, but it's good news. I see you taking it, being like, but also kind of knowing that it's coming or something. But there's definitely some good news coming. But I see it tied up to the potential outcome there. So it's looking like it's ahead. It's down the road. You know, it's not going to happen right away. So what that waiting is about, it's going to be probably concluded with some good news. From what I can see here. It's definitely going to make you happy. Let me do the Tower in the supportive energies. The Two of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, the Four of Cups. Okay, so we're tying it all up together here. It's like you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for something to happen and it didn't, and then it crashed because you crashed it because it was never happening. But what you were waiting for is based off of expectation. So you enter something with a sense of expecting for something to come through in the way that you probably want to. Then it doesn't. And then you're like, well, okay. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not coming through in the way that I need it to be. Do you kind of notice a little bit of, I called it expectation, you know, because I was trying to be nice about it. But ultimately, an expectation is actually a false sense of control we think we have over things. Like things have to turn out my way. Because if they don't, oh well. Control. Yeah, I think it starts from a set of expectations, but then it turns into control. Like things have to turn out in the way that I feel is best for me. Which a lot of people confuse with putting themselves first, with, you know, there's a thin line there between all of these concepts of self-love, you know, responding to your needs, responding to, you know, like expectations that lead to control and all of that. That's not about self-love. I know it may look like it, because at the end of this self-love, you're shown up pretty disappointed. While it's super difficult to love yourself, and it's probably one of the toughest things to do, and it's gonna suck in waves, we're never gonna be upset at the end of it. But we will be upset at the end of expectations, control, not panning out, you know. It didn't turn out the way I wanted to. Okay. So I feel like you're kind of at that, playing around that thin line between expectations / control and putting yourself first, which I see you doing all of those things. You know, that's what I'm saying. You're kind of crossing that line sporadically here through these experiences. And then at some point it kind of becomes a blur where it all looks the same, you know, where it's like, okay, so I am putting myself first then. Sometimes, not all the time. You're playing with the other side of the line, sometimes with the expectations and control part. But for the Four of Swords and the hidden energies, you get the Five of Swords, the Ten of Cups, the Queen of Swords. Okay. See, there is healing over what's going on here. It started for you. As I said, the big chunk of healing that I see playing out is kind of in the background where you're not going to feel much of it. What you're going to feel is this: oh my God, okay, I'm going to give this some time. I'm going to deal with whatever. And then I have to focus on what's next. I have to focus on my happiness. I have to focus on, which, true, you got to focus on that. But at the same time, kind of minimizing the time and the healing aspect of whatever this is. This is probably one of those situations that, because healing is happening at such a deep level and a little bit of unseen level to you, it's probably going to be one of those things in which you're going to be hit later with the actual healing of this. All of the things that I mentioned, kind of bouncing around that thin line of, self-love, control, and all of that. You may believe right now you're kind of functioning from that place of just self-love, just putting yourself first. You're seeking happiness. So of course it's, self-love. But there's other elements to this experience that you're not necessarily looking into right now. But again, because the actual healing energy is right there in the background, I feel like you're going to be hit with those at a later time, which is fine whenever you're ready for that. Healing is quite the complex process here. That's not going to happen like this. It shows up deceptive. It's like, yeah, I'm healing. Okay, is it that easy for you? I don't think so. So, there's a little more to it than just that. But in your hopes and fears for the Six of Swords, you get the Devil, the High Priestess, the King of Swords. Okay, over here you're kind of showing up as just following your intuition as much as possible. And really, really not only following your intuition, but combining that as you move forward, as you kind of move past this. You're saying, okay, I'm trying to listen to my intuition as much as possible, but then you're bringing your mind into play too, in the sense of I have to be clear-headed here to be able to not only listen to my intuition, but just to move forward here. Okay, that's not a bad energy. That's actually, yeah. The balance act between the mind and the heart is definitely at play there for you. As you're moving forward. Let me do the Three of Wands and the potential outcome. The Six of Swords, the Strength card, the Nine of Swords. As I said, and I think this came up for you recently too, something similar to this. I think whatever you're dealing with, first of all, it's not done. The dust hasn't settled yet. You're still kind of in there. You're almost done with that dust settling. But I think this is one of those that's going to hit you as you go. It's not, as you come out of it, I think you think, it's not that hard to actually go through this experience. And it's not, while at times it may seem hard, I think you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I've gone through worse, which might be true. However, the actual healing of this experience, I see it coming down the road. So it's not here yet. I see you walking and traveling and, doing your thing here as best as you can. And you're doing a good job here. You're not doing anything out of just don't be surprised down the road when something hits you, a blast from whatever this experience is. Because that's kind of how you're setting yourself up to, without meaning to, when you go through this thinking, I've gone through worse. This is handleable. We'll make it happen here. But that's exactly how you're supposed to feel at this moment in time, from what I can see here, because that's where all the energies lead. You're not seeing the bigger aspect of this healing happening, and that it's going to happen down the road, actually. So it's kind of normal to be where you're at with it. But sometimes, some experiences do show up like that, where as we're kind of going through them, they're not showing up as, that massive. It's just, an experience that's unpleasant. We're going to get through it, and then it hits us. And a lot of the times we don't even know where the fuck it hit us from. Like, oh my fucking God. So just keep that in mind. It might show up at a later time. From the universe for you as a final advice, the Ten of Wands, the Ace of Swords, the Five of Swords. You're stating here that something is very, 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 very difficult for you to do. The problem with this energy is that if you stated that, I would be like, oh, okay. Okay, it's hard. It's difficult for you. The problem is that the Five of Swords is there. So that almost kind of calls you out a little bit. That's kind of like the universe making jokes here with you. Being like, oh, is it? Is it? Is it really that difficult for you to do this? So it kind of shows up a little bit like that. So I don't know what this is. I think it's an energy of something new you may want to start or do or implement into a situation, and you're saying, oh my God, it's so hard, and and the universe calling you out like that. It's almost as to remind you that, hey, it's not that hard. You just got to do it. It's kind of like, stop whining and go ahead and do it. That's kind of how the universe is coming through here, with this kind of sarcastic, oh, is it so hard? Oh, poor baby. That's kind of how I'm seeing this. So I don't know what you got going on here, but apparently as much as apparently the universe knows, that no, it's not that hard. You just got to go ahead and do whatever this is. And again, I feel like it relates to something brand new that you may want to introduce, or something you want to do. Let's do the untethered soul message. Would you like to go beyond yourself? Would you like to feel no edges? And that's it. That's why I love this deck, because it just throws a couple of questions and it's like, what? Yeah, that is about it from this oracle. But that's what I have for you. Hope this helped, and I'll see you next time. Bye.